What is up, guys? It is Robert of Movies with Me, and welcome to the Brightburn movie review. This movie was directed by David Yarovesky. Hopefully I said that right. And it stars Elizabeth Banks, David Denham, and Jackson A. Dunn. Basically, Brightburn, no spoilers, of course, in this movie review, but I was really looking forward to Brightburn. I thought it looked really interesting, and I like the idea of having a superhero become a supervillain, basically a murderous superhero, or Superman, but if he was bad. And I know there's stuff like that. I don't read comics, but I know there's a character like that or something like that. I don't want to get into it, but regardless, I was looking forward to the movie, and especially when I heard it was produced by James Gunn. You know, it's like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy, cool. I sat in this movie, and as the movie started, it said Sony, and I was like, oh shit. And then it said Screen Gems, and I was like, oh fuck, really? I was very worried at those two company logos. I was like, oh no. Reason is because for me at least, a lot of those movies that they make, Sony and the combination Sony and Scream Gems they make aren't very good. There's some that I guess are decent. I'm trying to remember some, but the last ones that I remember that I've seen from them are pretty bad. But, you know, I thought, well, maybe it's James Gunn and like the Gunn family. There's a lot of Gunn people in there, but you know, it's also directed by this other guy. I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. But I was looking forward to it. Trailers at least I saw the first trailer. I'm like, it looks nice. I want to see it. And I was pretty disappointed by it. Not gonna lie. I thought it'd be really good. It turned out to be just okay. The Breyer family wants to have a kid, but they've been struggling for many times to get a kid. Eventually, a fucking asteroid in the sky comes into their like backyard basically, and inside is a baby, and so they decide to raise it. And here we are 10 years later. You got Brandon Breyer. And he kind of turns out to be a killing machine. My biggest problem with Brightburn is that it's unfortunately not quite what I was expecting. And you know, you're not supposed to go into a movie expecting something you want and come out of it saying if it isn't exactly what you want, you don't like it. That's not what I'm saying. It just turned out to be like a typical thriller horror movie, and I didn't like that. You know, I knew from the trailers it looked like it would be like a thriller, but I thought maybe they'd have more depth to it. I was just wrong. You know, it's not like it's bad. It's just they don't execute this whole plot that could have been really damn cool and maybe show some more of Brandon himself as a character. They don't really explore that. They kind of have him as this one-dimensional killing machine. They don't really explore like other sides of him that could potentially be there because they're always talking about, you know, Brandon, you know, we always know you're for good. You'll be a good guy, kind of like Superman, you know. But they never explore that. He's just always very murderous. It is a damn shame because what could be a really cool and honestly like very dark character that like explores you kind of explore his mind, what he's thinking, all this type of stuff. You don't get that. You just get a very strict something's like calling him and is telling him to kill people, you know, and it's like really there's not more that you could talk about with this Brandon guy. He came from space and there's just nothing else. It's a very thin movie in terms of his characters. They obviously just wanted a very strictly thriller movie, nothing more. They didn't want to explore anything more with it, and I think that really affects it. I think it could have been a lot more than this, and they really didn't do that. They didn't explore much of Brandon at all, and I think that's the biggest problem actually, is that he should have been explored. He is this, you know, outer space being, and we don't really get to know more about him. We just know that he's a kid and he just starts killing. That's really it. And I think that's super unfortunate. And even when it's like, okay, well, if it's thrilling, if it's a thrilling scene, you can maybe look over and be like, well, at least it was a really good thriller. I don't really think it's a really good thriller. I still think it's an okay thriller on its own. If you're not in it for maybe seeing a cooler mind of a villain, maybe you're only in it for the thrills and the intensity and the suspense, you don't really get that either, I don't think, to me. I think there's way better movies that do that. And this movie, you get the occasional maybe suspense, but if at that, and also with I just feel like there's a lot of needlessly violent. I'm okay with gore. I approve of it. I approve of it when it's done in a way that doesn't just say, hey, look, here's some gore. You know what I'm saying? And like, there's one part where someone's taking a glass out of their eye, right? I just feel like it was so unnecessary. Yeah, maybe go, ooh, damn, that would be painful. No shit, it'd be painful. But it's like, like, he obviously wasn't plotting to have the glass go in her eye. And if there was, what a guy. Like, that's amazing. But I just feel like that was so unnecessary. And I feel like there's a good amount of those, like, for every death, where it's like, I don't know if he necessarily was like, I'm going to get this guy to blah, 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 or this person to blah, blah, blah. And I think that's a kind of a problem with the movie, where it could have been cooler to have it where it's like, yeah, you could have those gruesome deaths, but have him do something. It's a lot of like, he'll go boom, and then just, loud noise, cut to them like about to die and stuff. And I don't care for that. It could have been so much more. For the most part, I'll be honest, like, there are still enjoyable scenes, when it does get in the later half, you start to enjoy it, but I think it's a little bit too late. And I think that's the biggest problem with the movie, is that, it doesn't really work as a thriller, and it doesn't really work as a cool villain, his mind, see how he is as a character. It doesn't really work as that. And it's not like those also, but it's not like those two parts of what I would think are bad. They're just not good. They're just okay. Overall, I'm going to give Brightburn a 6 out of 10. I thought it was okay. Not that it was bad. And I know maybe I'm talking it down a little bit too much, but it's just the things that I'm talking about. It's not that those are bad. They're just okay moments. They're nothing great to the peak that I feel like it would have been. And it's just a little unfortunate. So yeah, pretty disappointed. But did you see Brightburn? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. If you didn't know, I make music. You should check it out in the link in the description below. I would really, really appreciate it. Alright guys, see you guys. Bye-bye.
Every rule never skip shit. Beside my ton of absences, I was like a perfect kid. Skinny white twig in the school, 99% Hispanic. My ass had a massive backpack, black hoodie. You can imagine everyone would panic. That day there was a regular, it was the spectacular pep rally. Yep, sadly, it was mandatory. You had to go to that boring shit out, that's why. And the teachers would